Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we will go over pathways to PSLF success. We'd like to start by thanking the Ministry Council of the Cumberland Presbyterian Church for hosting this session and for offering this meaningful benefit to support the financial well-being of its employees. We're thrilled you're here because we know student debt is not just a number, it's a barrier, a stressor, and for too many, a roadblock to their financial wellness. So today we are going to show you how PeopleJOY is here to help you change that story and turn financial stress into financial success. All right, before we dive in, I want to start with a quick introduction. On the PeopleJOY side, that's me, Juliet. I am one of the client success managers here at PeopleJOY. I'm excited to be here with you today to walk you through how PeopleJOY helps Council of the Ministry of Cumberland Presbyterian Church ministers make the most of their student loan forgiveness and repayment options. If you have any questions along the way, please drop them in the Q&A and I will answer them at the end of the session. And I will put important links in the chat as well. All right, for today's agenda, we'll do a quick overview of who PeopleJOY is. We'll share some success stories. We'll break down what public service loan forgiveness is. And then we'll go over some of the updates that the Department of Education has made, including any changes that can or could affect your forgiveness and your repayment options. I really want to focus on those updates today and what PSLF is. So if you have any questions on how you may think the updates affect you, please put them in the Q&A. Okay. So who is PeopleJOY? We were founded in 2016 and we were built on a mission to simplify student loan repayment. We eliminate the confusion by breaking down complex student loan rules so you can make informed decisions. We are dedicated to borrower success. It doesn't matter if you're pursuing public service loan forgiveness or just looking for a lower payment. We want to make sure that you find success in managing your student loans. We offer full support through PSLF, from eligibility review to application submission and follow-up. We also offer private loan coaching. And then last but not least, we are honest and transparent. If we can't help you, we will let you know. We do not make any false promises. So far, PeopleJOY has helped 10 Cumberland Presbyterian ministers receive nearly $600,000 in loan forgiveness. So hearing that number, you may ask yourself, well, how can I join, that group of 10 ministers and having my loans forgiven? And it doesn't matter if you're just starting out as a Cumberland minister and just starting your career in public service, or if you've been doing this for a while. The path to loan forgiveness can be an option for you, but it can also feel confusing and full of red tape, just trying to meet the eligibility requirements of the program. But with the right guidance and tools, it can absolutely be within your reach. So let's walk through what loan forgiveness really means, who and how you can qualify, and what the next steps are that you can take without feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so there's several different types of federal student loan forgiveness. The most popular one is public service loan forgiveness, or PSLF. There is also income-driven repayment forgiveness. There is total and permanent disability discharge. There's teacher loan forgiveness and closed school discharge. There's also some smaller options, cancellation, and that is generally reserved for folks with Perkins loans. So today's focus will be public service loan forgiveness. So how does PSLF work? If you decide to work in public service, you may be eligible for federal student loan forgiveness after 10 years of full-time work. Now, sometimes it can be longer than 10 years, but I'll get into that in a moment. Some of the qualifications for the program are working full time at a nonprofit qualifying employer for 30 hours or more. Now, the presbyteries and the churches that fall within the Ministry Council of Cumberland Presbyterian Church do qualify for this program. Another requirement is you must have direct loans. And then another requirement is making sure that when you make student loan payments, they are qualifying payments for the program, and you must make 120 payments. So 120 months of qualifying payments made during the time period of 120 months of nonprofit full-time work equals forgiveness. Now, let me jump into a little bit more as to what is considered a qualifying payment. A qualifying payment is a payment made one time per month under an income-driven repayment plan. The current qualifying income-driven repayment plans are income-based repayment, or IBR, income contingent repayment, or ICR, and pay as you earn, or pay. So staying eligible for PSLF isn't just about making the payments. Like I just mentioned, it's making sure those payments count. So here are some key steps that you can sort of check along the way to make sure that your progress is still moving forward towards forgiveness. So it's knowing what is considered non-qualifying payments or non-qualifying statuses. And that's payments made during deferment. That does not qualify. Time and forbearance does not qualify. Or if you're making payments under a non-qualifying plan, that also will not count towards PSLF. Some of those plans that are non-qualifying are ones such as extended graduated plan or a 30-year standard plan. Those types of plans will not count towards your PSLF progress. Another thing to check, it all ties in together, but your IDR enrollment. Are you in an income-driven repayment plan that has been certified and that is eligible for PSLF? A lot of folks right now are in the SAVE plan, but they're currently in a forbearance because of that plan being held up in court, and that forbearance isn't counting towards their PSLF progress. So make sure you're in an applicable income-driven repayment plan and you recertify that repayment plan year after year, which hops to the next one, annual recertification. The Department of Education requires that folks update their IDR plan every year with the servicer. That's updating your income and your family size so they can give you the applicable payment amount. Missing this step, your recertification, can cause the plan to lapse, and any payments made during that time won't count towards PSLF. And then last but not least, but make sure that your employer is certified. By submitting your PSLF employment certification form regularly, ideally every 6 months or at least once a year, to make sure your qualifying payments are properly tracked with federal student aid. So, what are some key takeaways about the PSLF program? Let's do a quick recap. To stay on track for forgiveness, you want to remember these points. You want to be in a qualifying repayment plan, recertify that plan every year, and make 120 qualifying payments while working in public service under that qualifying plan. Be sure to submit your employer certification form annually so your progress is tracked correctly. And if you happen to work two part-time nonprofit jobs, that's okay. As long as those hours combine to 30 hours or more, that is considered full-time for PSLF purposes. Now, this can be a lot to manage, and it may seem like even more to manage once we dive into some of the student loan changes that are happening, but PeopleJOY helps you with all of this. Everything that I'm going over today is where we come in and why the Ministry Council of Cumberland Presbyterian Church brought us in to help you with your loans. So let's walk through some of the latest federal student loan policy changes. A lot has been happening in the student loan world since summer of 2024, and it can be a lot to keep up with, but that's why we're going to take the time to break it down into simpler terms so you understand what is going on and how it may affect you. So, there is the introduction of a new repayment plan, the Repayment Assistance Plan or RAP. And beginning July 1st of 2026, the new repayment assistance plan will replace current income-driven repayment options for new borrowers. So if you are a new borrower entering repayment on July 1st of 2026 or after, the only income-driven repayment plan that will be available is RAP. For borrowers who are already enrolled in an IDR plan, you can remain in that plan until July of 2028. After that point, you have the option to move to the RAP or the Legacy IBR plan. They are keeping the Legacy IBR plan around because it falls into the same repayment structure and payment calculation structure that RAP is. So RAP will feature income tiered payments. Higher earners will pay more. If you're not eligible for PSLF because of your employer or just PSLF isn't an option, if you're on RAP, you can be eligible for forgiveness after 30 years of payments. But for most folks that are on track for PSLF, RAP is a fully eligible PSLF income driven repayment plan. There's also been some other improvements to the PSLF program as well as forgiveness. We are waiting for these improvements to be implemented, but they have been written into law. And that's borrowers who have been in repayment for 25 or more years will automatically receive forgiveness, no application required. The other update is PSLF tracking will now be automatic. Again, we haven't seen this implemented. We're expecting it sometime in 2026 or at the latest 2027. And borrowers will have a streamlined appeal process for correcting past PSLF errors. There's also some program changes about those who are looking to go back to school. The Department of Education will be phasing out the Graduate Plus loans starting in 2026 for the 2026-2027 school year, and they have set borrowing caps for graduate programs to prevent excessive debt. Okay, if you are a Parent Plus borrower, it is important to act now, act before July of 2026, probably even sooner than July, but that is the deadline. Parent Plus borrowers currently have limited repayment flexibility, and the only way to access income driven repayment is by consolidating into a federal direct consolidated loan. So if you consolidate and that consolidation processes before July 1st of 2026, and you enroll in an IDR plan before July 1st of 2028, you can then still qualify for the legacy IBR plan. So that's the goal, because if you don't take those steps before July 1st of 2026 to consolidate, you will most likely lose access to forgiveness at all on your Parent Plus loans. So waiting too long, like I said, you can be locked out entirely, leaving only the standard plan, no forgiveness, and no income-based options. So what do you do now? You can connect with PeopleJOY, you can meet with a loan coach, explore your options for consolidation, consider if ICR payments are sustainable, or if you want to take the jump to making an ICR payment and then going on to the legacy IBR plan. And you can talk to one of our coaches to do this and do that soon because this window is closing quickly. July will be here before we know it. Some of the other changes that have been implemented is interest capitalization is now banned across repayment and forgiveness programs. This will stop in 2026. Interest capitalization is the adding of outstanding interest to the principal balance. They're doing this so borrowers see their loan balances decrease rather than increase. Capitalization usually would occur during a consolidation or switching up repayment plans. And then the last reform that was written into law is the introduction of a new borrower assistance office with the goal to strengthen loan servicer accountability and improve borrower support. This office has not been opened yet. They are saying that it will be phased in 2026, but it is not yet available. Okay, so here are some key effective dates that just sort of reflects the policy changes that we just went over. The ones that I want to highlight the most that are going to be the most applicable to folks on this call is the introduction of the RAP plan. So if you're a new borrower, again, if you're entering repayment July 1st, 2026 or after, get familiar with RAP and its structure for calculating payments. If you're an existing borrower, you have until 2028 to stay on your current plan. After that, you will have to move to RAP or the legacy IBR plan. And then if you're a Parent Plus loan borrower and you haven't consolidated yet, if that's something that you want to pursue and you're interested in getting PSLF on your Parent Plus loans, talk to a coach, sign up, think about it, vet your options because that door will close in July of 2026. So we've talked about what PSLF is, how to qualify, and some of the changes that are shaping the student loan landscape. But now let's shift gears and talk about what happens when things don't go exactly as planned. Specifically, uh, defaulted loans and how that can impact your overall financial wellness and path to loan forgiveness. So, what happens when a loan goes into default? When a loan goes into default, the entire balance becomes due immediately. That means both the principal and the interest. The good news is there are ways to recover from this. A consolidation. In some cases, you can consolidate your defaulted loans into a new direct loan, depending on how long they've been in default. There's also the option of a rehabilitation. This is a 9-month program where you work with the collection agency to make on time monthly payments, and that can bring your loan back into good standing after you make those 9 payments. Starting in 2026, you can use rehabilitation twice in the lifetime of your student loan. But even though you have the option to do it twice, it's really important to stay consistent with your student loan payments because default really has an impact on your credit. And then it can lead to wage garnishment. So if your loan stays in default, the government can begin wage or tax refund garnishment, and that can happen without taking you to court. So, what does that mean? It means simply enough, they just withhold your federal tax refund. Or they can even take up to 15% of your disposable income directly from your paycheck. Now, we've covered what default means and how to get out of it. And let's take a look at a real success story of someone who was in that situation. This borrower came to us with more than $232,000 in defaulted student loans. With PeopleJOY's guidance, she was able to bring her loans out of default, lower her monthly payment from $1,000 to just $251, and she even saw her credit score jump by 50 points. Most importantly, she avoided wage garnishment and is now actually awaiting her approval letter for loan forgiveness. So, stories like this show that it's really possible to take the right steps and regain control of your student loans. So, we've covered a lot today from how to stay eligible for PSLF to the latest federal policy changes and even what to do if your loans are in default. It can be a lot to take in, it can feel overwhelming, but the good news is because of Ministry Council of the Cumberland Presbyterian Church, you don't have to navigate this alone. It's why Cumberland partnered with PeopleJOY to give you the expert guidance, tools, and personalized support to help you make sense of all of these changes and staying on track with your student loans. So again, it doesn't matter whether you're just getting started or you just want to double check your progress. We can help you make the process simple. We break down the rules, the updates, everything in between, all the red tape. We help you understand that in plain English. So here's how we help. We handle the paperwork from PSLF forms to IDR forms to loan consolidations. We take care of those details for you. We help you understand those details too. We assist in tracking your progress so you always know where you are and how close you are to forgiveness. We offer personalized student loan coaching to help you choose the right repayment plan, fix any issues that might arise, and make sure your questions are answered every step of the way. We keep you informed, and we ask that you do the same. Share any updates you receive from your loan servicer. Communication is key to keeping your file accurate and up to date. And remember, if you've already run into some challenges or made a few missteps along the way, that's A-OK. We can help you correct them and move forward with confidence. So now that you know what PeopleJOY does and how we can help, let's talk about getting started. You're going to want to go to studentaid.gov and download your My Student Data file. It contains your full federal loan history, and we use it to assess your potential savings. We use this file to be in compliance with the Stop Student Debt Relief Scams Act. We never ask for your FSA ID or password or access to your loan servicer. So we're going to take a second to watch a quick video on how you can obtain that file. Now that you have a glimpse as to how you can obtain the My Student Data file, let's go to step 2. You're going to take the assessment. You are going to go to cumberland.peoplejoy.com and you are going to select Public Service Loan Forgiveness. And then you're going to take the assessment. After you select Public Service Loan Forgiveness, this little pop-up will show up here. And you can select Take Assessment. If you're already working with us, you can come back to this page again, and this is where you can also log in. All right, to complete the assessment, it's just 5 simple steps. It's going to ask for some personal information, a little bit more information about forgiveness eligibility, just determining do you have federal loans, do you have private loans, those types of questions. Then it'll go into asking for some financial information so we can help develop whether or not if we can find a lower payment for you, how much forgiveness, things like that. Then we go into your employment history and we ask that you upload the My Student Data file. So this assessment, it should only take about 5 minutes, especially if you have the My Student Data file downloaded beforehand. It's pretty quick. And then when we have that, we are able to develop your student loan strategy and analysis and figure out what your potential forgivenesses, and how can PeopleJoy help you. So, quick overview. For the assessment, download your My Student Data file first, and you can get that by going to studentaid.gov. Then you're going to go to cumberland.peoplejoy.com to make sure that we are helping those who are eligible for this service. You are going to use authorization code 1810. Once you complete your assessment, we will review it for potential savings and loan forgiveness. And once we have that figured out, we'll email you next steps. Then you can get started. Once you get the email with your login credentials, you can log into your portal, finish any forms that are in your dashboard. Those forms are there for a reason. They're really important in getting you on track for PSLF or getting you into the right repayment plan for the program. Then we'll file that paperwork for you to keep you on track. We'll help you track your savings. You can meet with your loan coach if you have more questions. And then year after year, we keep you on track to make sure that all the paperwork is filed, all of your questions are answered. So when you reach 120 qualifying payments, you can submit your application and it comes back with the seal of approval. So before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. You can get started at any time by visiting cumberland.peoplejoy.com. In the assessment, you are going to want to use the authorization code 1810. And then if you want to stay informed about the latest student loan updates and forgiveness news, you can follow us on social media at the following channels. We're always sharing helpful tips. It doesn't matter if it's in relation to the updates, just anything that can help student loan borrowers understand the programs, the nuances of it all. We'll share those tips, we share updates, and we share success stories from borrowers like you. So, having said that, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. We look forward to being able to help you. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact PeopleJoy. We are more than happy to help answer questions. The best way, usually, if they are student loan related questions and specific to your cases, is going to be completing our assessment. So, to do that, again, cumberland.peoplejoy.com, authorization code 1810. All right, and then I'll stop the recording and we can hang on for a little bit to answer some questions that people have. But I appreciate everyone's time and I hope that you found this information session helpful.